Yeah. And then you use all these lessons. We get this big bag of tricks together, and we get our toolbox together, and we get all these things. As you go through your career, you found it was time to walk away from the Marines and walk away from MARSOC, and kind of, in the middle and leading up to that, you've been very open about your struggles, and, and now I can say your triumph with your own mental health. Through that process, you learn more lessons as you go, right? And you try to use some of those tools that you got from MARSOC and from doing hard things, and to kind of transition into getting out of the Marines and into what you're doing now. Like, you had to have that extremely hard process of those struggles with mental health. Like, what did you learn from the military and from SOF specifically that got you through those times, or maybe even on the flip side kind of led to some of those hard times?
I'll say this, like, let me back up before, like, people go like, how do you get out at 12 years? Like, you got only 8 years left. I'm like, okay, go do 8 years in prison, or go stand on your head
out of
for
here.
8 years.
Get out of here. Right.
8 years in my life now, it goes by the blink of an eye. 8 years 100%. Doing that job, that's a different world. So I did a very, I don't know if you could call it honorable, or like like what operators typically do. I never took a break and went to a schoolhouse and did a school billet. So from 2000, I guess from 2001, since the war kicked off, until 2012 when I got out, I was in an operational capacity the entire time. Why is that? Well, you want to stay relevant. You want to stay relevant. You want to do your job. You want to, if you're a football player, you don't want to sit on the bench. You want to play the game.
No. You want to go compete. You want to go win.
Yep.
You want to go make a difference. Exactly. And you can't stop it. It's a drug, man. Now,
if I would have had a good leader, I did a podcast with, he was Master Gunnery Sergeant Stuber. I worked for him out in Oki, and then he came to the command, but I didn't work for him. If I would have had somebody like that would have set me down and said, Nick, listen, you got a family, you got kids. I'm putting you on a break. You can hate me. You can call me a motherfucker, even though we're friends. You can call me all the names you're doing, but I'm doing this for you.
But you're taking a knee, right?
So you can take a forceful knee, go get some of your body worked on, because I'm sure you're broken and lying about it, like we all do, right?
Yep.
Take a knee, go get some normality in your life. Go get it's a 9 to 5. Now you can have weekends with your family. You can kind of have a normal life for a couple years. I probably would have possibly stayed in, but because I didn't, and I just went like 300 miles an hour for 12 years, man, I was turning into and we all know him, the grumpy senior dude, the guy that just like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck everybody.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like, I had lost a sense of my humanity. So there's a couple things at play here. One, very angry human being, zero empathy, did not look at humans the same way that I do now. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just very callous and cold and angry person. And I saw myself heading down more of that road, not to mention, so that's that. And next to that, even though you're in special operations, even though you're in the military, you're at the best of the best of, and it really is. I mean, was it 0.4% joined the military, and then less than 1% of them joined, some sort of special operation. So you really are a very unique American, right? Like, let's hand it to these people that do this job. They are a very unique, top of the line, like, model of an American. So I did not like that there was still a system that my personal development and my professional growth was hampered by this system.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how much I grew, no matter how hard I worked, no matter how much I gave a shit, it didn't mean that I was going to get promoted. It did not mean that I was going to move up. I was a cog in a wheel. And I was ready at 12 years, I was ready for my output, what I give, what I do, what I learn, and what I can provide value to be compensated both in, status, life, whatever, not just necessarily monetarily, but my return of investment for my effort. And you guys know as well as I do, you can do the bare minimum. You can do the bare minimum and still move up the ladder.
Still get promoted, baby. It's a war of attrition. Yeah. I
had a senior guy. I mean, you want to call him senior. We were in the same time. He just did the bare minimum. He told me, he said, you know what your problem, Nick, is? You care too much. He goes, look at me. He goes,
what a thing to say.
He goes, he's like, honestly, and he wasn't wrong. He's not wrong. He goes, look at me, man. I do what I need to do. And things work out for me. He's like, you work too hard. You care too much. And I said, and that was one of there's a lot of signs, but that was a big one for me that I was like, this isn't the place for me anymore.
Yeah.
And that was when I said, okay, I'm going to exit.
Well, you're in a very personal business, but the military is a very impersonal bureaucracy, right?
Yeah.
And so
that's a great way to put that. Like that job, our job in the military is a very personal job.
Right. It's intimate. You make intimate connections with dudes. You love other people. Like I have love in my heart. I get off the phone with my friends that I've made through this job and I don't say goodbye. I say, I love you. I tell my friends I miss you.
Absolutely. Love you, man.
Yeah. Exactly. Everybody, like when I saw, Trent and I just got back from SHOT Show. I don't know how many of my friends I just openly hugged, and it wasn't like I'm going to shake your hand first. No, it was come here, give me a hug, dude. Like I haven't seen you. Like
I get it.
Yeah, but
you're right. The military is it's a machine that doesn't care about you.
Yeah. Well, and it's difficult. And I think that leads to some of those like mental, you're disassociated from reality, right? Like you're part of this giant bureaucracy that doesn't care about you, but you're part of this team where you make the difference between life and death, and you're expected to make all these decisions. And then you come back home to your family, it's just all these things are so weird, so I can't imagine people not getting affected mentally by these environments that they're thrown into back to back to back, right? Like you're not going on a ship necessarily like World War II and spending months coming back across the Atlantic with all the guys that went through the similar experiences. Like you get on a plane and it's like, okay, you're home. Go hang out with your family. Also, you didn't get promoted. And you're just like,
yeah. I distinctly remember we had a mission that popped off. We turned over and then I was in Germany, like less than 72 hours later. And then no kidding, I got home and it was like the first thing that they did. They're in processing. They're like, hey, you're also red on all your IMR. So before we can give you leave, like you got to go like see the doc and do this CBT and stuff. I'm like, dude, 96 hours or 108 hours ago or something, I was no kidding getting off of a helicopter on my last mission in Wagner. Yeah. And now here I am in Las Vegas and you're telling me that I need to go do admin work. Like it was the most surreal thing of all time. Like there was no way to wrap your head around it.